Hello and welcome to the Tavern Chat Podcast. This is a Friday night, therefore you have my lovely wife, Rach, and myself talking about gamers' health.
Hello.
But before we delve into tonight's episode, we actually have a sponsor. This episode of the Tavern Chat / Gamers Health Podcast is brought to you by Frog God Games Orcus on 34th level, available exclusively on Indiegogo. Whether you play Swords Wizardry, 5e, or the now resilient Pathfinder, Orcus is waiting for your intrepid party of adventurers. Go to tenkars-tavern.games /Orcus and pick up your copy now. Your party will curse you. And folks, I know those of you going, oh yeah, well, let me do a search for Orcus Frog God Games on Indiegogo, and you'll probably find it. I'm not saying you won't. But if you want to support the podcast, use tenkars-tavern.games /Orcus, because then Frog God knows that I sent you. And if you aren't going to do it that way, if you're going to do a Google search, then mention it in a comment over there, because, listen, this money comes back to the podcast, the community projects for the tavern. So I really do appreciate all that you do to support us.
Is this a Christmas Orcus?
Yes, it's a Christmas Orcus.
I was like 34th.
Yes, it's like 34th Street.
Yeah.
It's not by James Bond. Actually, the author is John Hook. This is the first I've seen of John writing for Frog God Games / Necromancer, but he has done work on Call of Cthulhu and the DCC RPG, which leads me to have great confidence in his ability to write a suitably horrific holiday adventure. So, woohoo!
Very nice.
But now we're going to delve in to the gamer's health aspect, and it's a bit of a hodgepodge, shall we say? Because we're gonna, it's not like mental health or emotional health or pets like we've done in the past. This is little bits and pieces, just little things that I'm going to suggest, and Rach is going to suggest, and I am going to tell you something that I stumbled across on. It was a Facebook ad, and I've gotten to the point where, and stuff looks interesting. If I have a few dollars in my pocket that, I'm not spending at the pub anymore, I was like, hop tea. And I was like, what the hell is hop tea? Well, it's tea, whether it's
it could be any variety: black, green, white,
chamomile,
herbal infusions.
They have other ones too.
But it's mixed with hops.
Yes.
Different types of, I guess. It seems like they're hops that mimic like a citrusy taste.
Or it depends on, in the case of the black tea, they paired it with, it's carbonated water, Simcoe and Citra hops, organic black tea, and citric acid. Now, the other three flavors that we have, the white tea and the green tea. Now, this has 70 milligrams of caffeine, has no calories, it has no artificial sweeteners, none of that stuff. I've also tried the chamomile, and what did we try last night? Was it the green? We haven't tried the white yet, right?
Right. It was the black and the green, and then this is the chamomile going
right over here in the glass. So the chamomile has no caffeine. The others either have 60 or 70 milligrams of caffeine.
And you can smell the hops in it when you.
It's refreshing.
When you. I don't know. I smell things before I take it.
Oh, I got you.
I know I'm weird.
If you are a beer drinker who is looking to cut carbs and or alcohol, I've tried the near beers, and the best I've tried recently has probably been Heineken Zero, but it's huge in carbs. Not huge in calories, it's huge in carbs. And it isn't as satisfying as this carbonated tea with hops is. So,
and then there's also probably some sort of wonderful health benefits from hops.
Oh yeah,
I can't really recite them right now. I probably should have looked that up before I came on.
But and tea also, especially
tea, of course, tea always.
Yes. So that's
herbal stuff. Yeah.
Hoptea.com, HOPTEA.com. They come in 16-ounce cans. They run about $3 a can, so a 12-pack is going to be around $35 or so.
Yeah, it tastes like those artsy hops that they use at our local brewery.
Yes.
The Finback.
Yes.
Which we loved.
Yes, you're going to definitely taste the hops. I'm not saying this is you're going to go, oh, I give up my beer. I'm not saying I'm going to give up my beer, but I'm saying that I could have this instead of a beer and still wind up probably being satisfied. The chamomile has no caffeine, so if you're looking to avoid caffeine, that's certainly a nice one. The chamomile especially is something that, as Rach said earlier, something that you could see on a hot summer night, having that right before going to bed, and nice and relaxing and helping her go to sleep. And the others have caffeine, and they're smooth. And the fact that they're not sweetened at all, naturally or artificially, surprisingly is not missed. Now, something else, which actually I didn't even mention to you before I dropped into this, something we have to do this weekend. Brewsy, BREWSY.com, I think I'm saying it right, allows you to brew your own wine and or apple cider, and it ferments totally in like 5 days, which is, as somebody who's do homebrew beer, that's huge. But you can make it as sweet as you want. And yes, you use sugar and obviously real juice in the fermentation process, but you can sweeten it afterwards and either use stevia or agave or other sweeteners that are lower in glycemic, or not at all. You can have a very dry wine. You can control the carb impact, and I think that's huge. I believe the wines are around a 14 or 15% alcohol content, which it's about par for the course, maybe a little bit high.
No, that's normal.
That's about normal?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think so.
So that's
10 to 15 by volume. Yeah.
So we're talking I guess alcohol substitutes and how to brew your own alcohol and keep it carb friendly. Oh yeah, this is probably not the gamer's health that you expected. Now, by the way, red wine, a glass of red wine at night with dinner or before you go to bed. There are studies that show that red wine has components to it that are heart healthy. I don't know of many doctors that are going to tell you, go out there and have a glass or two before you go to sleep. But my heart failure doc, when I asked him about it, he was like, a glass or two at night with dinner or before you go to bed. He goes, there's no problem with it. He goes, you might get some benefit from it, but there's no problem with it. As always.
And making sure that they're measured.
Yes.
At 5-ounce glass.
Right. Or one 10-ounce glass. Well, if you're having two, you can do that.
Yeah.
But moderation is the key, as with anything. Even when it comes to trying to be carb healthy with your blood sugar, something that I guess we have found a cheesesteak location that we can get through Uber Eats that I love cheesesteaks and Rach loves cheesesteaks, and I was
who knew.
And I was afraid
I don't usually like meat
because when you order the fries and it's got this cheese and the bacon on it and they're huge, and the first time that we ordered from there, I ate a whole thing of these fries and this large sandwich, and my blood sugar was like 190 before I went to bed, which means that who knows what it was right after.
Because your sandwich is big.
Yeah. I'm a big guy. What can I tell you? But
I mean, my sandwich is big, but yours goes bam.
But this time, we still ordered 2 fries, but we saved 1 fry to make with breakfast. Yes, I know, with cheese and bacon on it. We put it into, I'll tell you in a second, into our little foodie oven. But my blood sugar didn't spike. And why didn't it spike? Well, I think because, at least with my body, there's a point that I hit with the carb intake that must put my blood sugar into overdrive. And as long as I stay below that, I'm fairly stable. So my blood sugar was like 135 before going to sleep, which for a type 2 diabetic is pretty good. And then with our breakfast omelet, of which I had a recipe for our basic omelet that I make in the last newsletter. You can get the newsletter for Tenkars Tavern by going to tenkars-tavern.games. Sign up for the newsletter because come December, there are going to be freebies, Christmas, OSR Christmas, which will also be taking place here on the podcast and the newsletter and on YouTube and on the blog. It's going to be a little bit of everywhere. So if you want to get all your chances, you're going to have to be a little bit of everywhere. But the newsletter is once a week, and I'm including recipes. That's because people requested it. But I was saying I heated this up with breakfast for us. We split the fries. Didn't spike my blood sugar. Beautiful thing. In our Ninja Foodie oven. It's also an air fryer. And why do I?
It's a multitasker.
It's a multitasker. It'll toast your bread and your bagels. It'll bake. It'll broil. It'll roast. And it'll air fry. And I think if you get it through Amazon.com, you can also do what do you call it with the fruit?
Dehydrating.
You can dehydrate fruit. Not a lot at a time, but
or freeze dry.
No, it's not freeze dry.
No,
because it's not freezing. And
yeah. I mean, same texture.
Yeah, similar. But why would
just be careful with pineapples? We dehydrated a whole bunch of those, and
they burned.
They burnt my mouth out so bad.
Yeah, because they kind of concentrated.
The sugar gets all concentrated on
and the acid. Yeah. So probably lesson learned. I guess you wouldn't like.
I like sweet things, so I'm like, yeah, this is good.
Yeah. And, you just wouldn't dehydrate a pomegranate either, I guess. All you'd have left,
I think that would be a mess because it's little.
Yeah, all you'd have left is a seed.
Things, yeah.
Yeah, but why do we like our Ninja Foodie oven? Because
it could be Ninja, it could be anybody's.
Yeah, there's like
thing like
there's
that,
an Emerald one out there that actually looks pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
But why do we like this? It's more than a toaster oven. And why do we like it? Well, because it does. Multiple things. Now, like I said, they have ones out there with also a rotisserie chicken. Awesome.
Yeah, I think Emerald's does that.
Yeah, ours does not. But you can do air frying, which is nice if you want to crisp something up without having to deep fry in oil. But we're only cooking for two. If I'm cooking, listen, my family, my parents live downstairs. It's a 2-family home. When they're not away about half the time, we eat as a family. But that also means that half the time we're cooking. Generally, that means me because Rachel's still working. But I don't want, for 2 people, yes, I'll use the stovetop. That's great. I have a full-size oven. But to heat up the oven can take forever if you want to heat it up to 450 degrees. And it's a lot for just cooking for 2 people. Whereas using a foodie oven, it doesn't heat up the whole house, doesn't heat up the kitchen. It heats up in like a minute. It's preheated. You're ready to go. And it's great for doing, we'll buy like the pizza crusts that are already made. It's a pizza crust, and we'll top it with a little olive oil and tomato sauce, cheese, and toppings. And they have ones that are low carb. You can get those through Amazon also. So if you're looking to control those carbs, these are things that they're not no carbs. These aren't necessarily keto friendly. And a lot of what we look to purchase is keto friendly. Because I know if I'm getting something that's keto friendly, it's probably not going to spike my blood sugar. But
and then also making sure, like with the pizza, that you want to have as much vegetables on top as possible.
Yes. Even when I am making spaghetti First off, when we make spaghetti, we're using miracle pasta or something similar. So it is almost, it's like maybe 20 calories per bag, and we're doing a bag a person with no carbs. And I'm using a canned sauce, but I'll take fresh tomatoes or ripe tomatoes from the grocery or from Amazon Fresh, because we haven't been going to a grocery. And I'll cut them up and I'll put them in a sauce, and then I'll take my Mrs. Dash Italian herbs seasoning and liven up the sauce. Because again, here is it's an open secret if you are ever dieting, but things that have flavor make you forget that you are restricting your what you're eating. Like, if we make the sauce very flavorful, and sometimes I'll add maybe Italian chicken sausage, which isn't too high in sodium and it's low in carbs. Maybe I'll add some meatballs that I will make. Therefore, I know I'm controlling a lot of the ingredients. Or if I'm not controlling the ingredients, I look to see, oh, okay, well, serving size here says 3 meatballs. I'll make 2 meatballs for each of us, because since the serving size is 450 milligrams of sodium, I'll cut back on the meatball, and now I've cut that sodium down to 300 milligrams, right? It's all adjusting. But you want that flavor, so you're not realizing you're not having real pasta. And you want to be excited to eat. So if the food is cooking and it smells good, you're doing well. Something else that I've been doing, it's a little bit of a splurge, but 3 meals a week, well, six servings, 3 meals for Rach and I. We get through one of those home delivery services, Home Chef, where they give you the ingredients. You got to cook it. A lot of times you got to trim the vegetables out and all that other stuff. They give you the recipes. I'm not going to say it's idiot proof, but it's pretty close to being so. And I never thought I would say this, but Brussels sprouts can be fucking awesome.
Yeah, that was a new thing for me too.
Heck, beets can be tasty. My experience with beets were only one of 2 ways: pickled, disgusting, or boiled, probably even more disgusting. But broiling them with a little seasoning, they were surprisingly good. It was almost like a potato in texture, but sweeter in flavor. But then the spice kind of balanced it out. And that's the other thing.
I don't know.
What?
I didn't like beets.
Rach didn't like the beets, but I think
I never ate them in my life until then.
Right. See, now here's the thing. I had eaten them, and I thought they were
I'd never tried them before. I was like, "Wow, we're trying new things."
I thought they were horribly disgusting in the past. I was willing to. Rach was
My mom always hated them, and so she never cooked it for us when we were growing up. We never got exposed to it, so I guess I just inherited her aversion also.
I gotcha. I have aversion to certain foods.
You and your mom both hate mushrooms.
That's true, but I will eat mushrooms on pizza.
That is true. Yes.
Okay. I just don't like the texture of mushrooms.
Right, you wouldn't eat it as in your eggs or
no. Yeah. Well, no, I don't. I don't particularly like that. But I can understand, like when I was a kid, times were tough. Budget had to get stretched, and certain things I learned to dislike. I learned to dislike frozen and canned peas, because usually they were put into white box macaroni and cheese to give the macaroni and cheese a nutritional benefit of.
But it's starch.
Yeah, but it was vegetable. It was green, right? So no. And as Rach can attest to, there is a staple that I have a huge aversion to. And what is that, Rach? Sandwich-wise.
Peanut butter and jelly.
Peanut butter and jelly. And the reason why.
Uh-oh.
And my mother doesn't listen to this podcast, so I'll throw this out there. I love raspberries. I love blackberries. Fresh off the vine. Delicious. What I don't enjoy is homemade berry preserves or jam when you don't strain out the seeds. And then when you put them up.
That's kind of a wacky texture.
Yes. And then you put them with peanut butter. Yeah. No. So I learned to not like peanut butter.
With peanut butter and stuff, you have to have like the smooth, like Concord grape,
Yeah. So that's, I understand Rach having an aversion to things that, your mother taught you not to like. Well, my mother taught me not to like peanut butter and jelly.
Yeah, and my mother taught me not to like beets. She loved mayonnaise, so I didn't inherit that crazy aversion from her. But I've been getting more adventurous.
Yes, she has. And don't tell Rachel, but I've put together some things from Home Chef that had mayonnaise as an ingredient.
I know.
I never told her.
The mustardy thing.
Actually, it was in one of the meats, which were ground, and it was a little mayo in there.
Really?
To help the binding, I guess.
Uh-huh.
Folks, here's what this comes down to, too. All right? We talk about gamers' health. We talk about our health. This week, we've been walking a lot this week. We've been taking 45-minute, 1 hour long walks with our dog.
And she's a happy puppy.
Yes.
That was.
So we're going out and
so forward to it.
And we're getting out there and we're doing this. And as Rach pointed out, I used to be very slow going up inclines because of my sciatica, my calves. I've gotten better at keeping up with Rach, which is a damn good sign. And I think that some of that's the weight loss.
Mm-hmm.
I'm down probably.
And your heart's stronger.
Right. I'm down about 30 pounds from my average weight of around 240, 245. I'm usually around between 210 and 213. I'd like to get it down to 200. Mm-hmm. We're working on it. I'd probably have to add a lot more exercise in to get there. But you're not in this alone.
And less snackies.
Yeah, we need our snackies. But you're not in this alone. This journey that we're going on, I'm going through this with Rach, but I'm sharing, and Rach is sharing with you. And when you have those times where you go, oh man, I fucked up. I shouldn't have had the 6-pack. Or, damn it, I really wanted my Mountain Dew and I didn't want to go diet. Or the Haagen-Dazs ice cream was calling. Well, you know what? You slipped, you fell.
You just keep going.
You just keep going.
Use it for what you can learn from it.
Yeah, don't
and don't let it impact your decisions on food for the rest of the day. You can always, keep going forward. You can't take back what you ate,
Right.
But you can just be able to make a better decision next time.
Nobody is perfect. Since we started this podcast, I have gotten
based on our own experience.
Yes.
With that.
The whole thing with us sharing is to let you know that you're not alone in this journey. You're not walking this path by yourself. You might not be next to us, but we're on the path with you. And if you ever need to have somebody who can share your experience, you can always leave a voicemail. You can call either through the app here at Anchor. 347-509-5168 is the Google number. You can PM me on Facebook. You can email at tenkars.tavern.games. I listen to them all. Rach listens to them all. If you email us, we'll listen, we'll respond, because we're only going to get through this as a community. And whether that's a community of a handful or a community of scores of us doesn't really make a difference. Mm-hmm. I'd like it to be more of us because, let's be honest, the gaming community certainly has its share of people with unhealthy eating habits and health habits. And we'd like to inspire those.
He is me, like that we all go through the same struggle.
Yes. And there's no shame in that. And I've spoken with a number of people who have lost I'm not going to name people because I don't have permission to name them. But since we started this podcast, people that have dropped a significant amount of weight and changing their eating habits. And they're changing, they're not necessarily doing what Rich and I are doing, but they're finding their path. But our goal is all the same: to increase our life expectancy, to lead a healthier, more enjoyable life as we're living it, right? Because when you're physically healthy and you're mentally healthy, it all starts kicking off each other, and you can do things. You can be creative, and
your body can do things that it couldn't do before, like get into certain positions. Like yoga forms and things like that. As you have less bulk, you're more flexible, and you can, you have more room to accommodate your body. So,
I mean, to put things in perspective, back in 1996, when I entered the police academy, I had a 38-inch waist. And my waist went as high as 44. Usually it was a 42. If I was doing really good, I would get down to a very tight 40. So I had pants of all different fucking sizes. Well, you know what? I'm down to a 38, and if they made men's pants in single sizes, I could probably do a 37. It would be perfect fit. And I'm still not done with this journey. This journey is going to be a lifelong journey. And that's the other thing too, folks, real quick. This journey is not a journey that you're going to say, oh, I've reached this point and now I stop. No, I've reached this point. Now you maintain. Okay, you just can't say, oh, well, when I get to my blood sugar number gets good, or
when it's a certain number on the scale.
Yeah,
it doesn't work like that. It's a forever thing.
Yes,
it's a forever thing that we do one day at a time.
Yeah, but again, you're not on this journey.
Not that we
alone.
have to sit and be begrudging that. We.
What?
We don't have to begrudge the fact that we need to do this for ourselves.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, we're coming up in the holiday seasons.
That's a triggering time for everybody, for everything.
But we're in a world of COVID, folks, so it might not be as triggering for some because we might not be eating what we used to. We might not be having the guests.
Which is okay.
Yes. But mentioning COVID, remember, folks, we are not medical professionals, but we will tell you this. This is the advice that we're going to give. Use your common sense to keep yourself, your loved ones, your family, your friends, your community healthy and safe. COVID's not going to go away anytime soon. And we want you around for a nice long time as part of this community. So take the precautions that you need to take. Anything else?
I don't think so. Take care of yourself and be safe.
Folks, be safe, be well. As always, God bless. Without the grace of God, I would not be here. And I do believe that. Roll your dice well. And God willing, and knock on wood, I will talk with you alls. Mananas. Good night, folks.